Friends, you are watching the movie Mirror. The story begins with the killer, who was roaming around with a weapon in his hand. Underneath this floor was a couple whose friends had been killed by the killer. Now it was their turn. They both remained hidden, terrified. The girl was so terrified that she wouldn't stop crying even after the boy's repeated attempts to convince her otherwise. The boy mustered up the courage to go outside and get help. As soon as he did, the killer immediately attacked him, slashing his neck with his weapon and throwing it at the girl. The girl screamed at the sight and ran for her life. Unfortunately, she couldn't escape the killer's clutches, and he brutally killed her as well. After this, some articles were shown that belonged to Charlie's farm. To date, no one who went there has ever come back, and they have been declared missing in the newspapers. After this ominous introduction, the scene shifts to a couple named Jason and Natasha, accompanied by a man named Mac, Jason's friend. Jason and Mac were planning a trip. Then Mac asked Jason why they all go to Charlie's farm, considered the most haunted place. A family once lived there, but they were known to be cannibals. So, the townspeople wiped out the entire family, and today, the 1,000-acre farm lies completely deserted and desolate. Camping there would be a unique experience. Hearing all this, Jason agrees to go to Charlie's farm, and Natasha calls her friend Melanie to join them on the trip. However, Melanie and Natasha didn't know where they were going. Well, the next day, Melanie arrives with her luggage and Mick tries to set her up by flirting with her. And Mick, too, seems to like Mick's sense of humor. Then, the four of them board the Jeep and set off on their trip. It was a long, fun-filled journey. As evening approached, everyone went to a pub to try to find out the exact location of 40 Farm. But no one could tell them the address, which was quite strange. Seeing this, Meg approached an elderly man named Blue and asked him about Charlie's farm. Blue explained, "I went there with my friends many years ago and the place is really dangerous. So don't go there." But Mick didn't listen to her and left with his friends. To stop him, one of Blue's friends comes to Mac and warns him not to go there again. Fed up, Mac fights with him, and in anger, the man gives Mac the address of Charlie's farm, where death awaits them all. According to the address, Charlie's farm was still quite far away, so they decide to spend the night camping out in the open. As they sit around a fire, Natasha refuses to go to Charlie's farm, as everyone has said it's dangerous. But Melanie wants to go there to experience the horror house. Makeup tells them, "Let me tell you the whole story of Charlie's farm, which I was told as a child. In the 1980s, a couple named John and Meredith lived happily there with their child, Charlie. This family was known as the Cannibal Family because they killed and ate many of the farm workers. John's victims were mostly girls, whom he tied to beds and physically tortured. Meredith would kill them, cook them, and feed them to the family. Charlie's favorite food was ribs, which he ate with great relish. Charlie was a psychotic child who was quite ugly. The family lived like this. But when farmers began disappearing from town, one day some people, including Blue, came to the family's house. Everyone knew that the family was cannibals. John refused to admit his mistake, and in a fit of rage, Blue killed John. Mirror Death escaped with Charlie through the back door of the house. When the townspeople entered the house to search for him, they found the dead bodies of several people who had been brutally murdered. While Mirror Death and Charlie escaped, it's said that Charlie is still alive. Natasha was left sweating after hearing this horrifying story, but Mick explained that it was just a rumor, so they should go there. Natasha agreed. The next morning, Jason called his friend Tony to find him at Charlie's farm. Tony told him it was better not to go there, but Jason was determined to go there. So he insisted on Tony giving him the address, and Tony gave him the location and warned him to be alert. Afterward, the four of them, fully excited, set off on their journey, arriving shortly after. The door was locked, preventing the Jeep from proceeding further, so they left the Jeep there and continued on foot. After walking for about 2 kilometers, they finally reached Charlie's farm, which was in a very poor condition. Nevertheless, they were delighted to see it and quickly went inside the house, which was littered with filth. While visiting the house, they noticed a room whose door was locked, but after a little effort, he opens the door, and when everyone goes inside, they find Charlie's childhood teddy bear, which Melanie finds very cute, so she decides to keep it. Although Natasha tries to dissuade her, she ignores her and puts the teddy in her bag. When Jason enters a room, he sees blood stains on the floor. This was the same room where a girl named Ever was tortured. From here, the story flashes back to the past. When the townspeople entered the house, they found a dead body with Aber's head ripped open. There were also dead bodies of several other people present, all in a decomposed state, as if they had been there for years. When the townspeople couldn't find Murdet and Charlie, they began searching for them and soon found Murdet, who wasn't with Charlie, because Murdet had already hidden him somewhere. However, Murdet told people he had died a year earlier, and believing this lie, they killed Murdet as well, with Charlie secretly watching. Mick was the one narrating this entire story, which frightened the three of them. But then Mick sent everyone down to their rooms to sleep. At night, while Melanie was sleeping with Charlie's teddy beside her, she suddenly saw a tall, large man standing in front of her. But she was fast asleep, paying no attention to him. The next day, two more people, Godin and Elisa, arrive at Charlie's farm and meet them, explaining that they're looking for their friends who disappeared weeks ago. They're probably referring to the couple from the beginning of the movie. Everyone sits down and discusses Charlie's farm while eating breakfast. Melanie goes to get Charlie's car teddy, but finds it missing from her bag. She blames Mac for the theft, but Mac flatly denies it. Hearing this, Melanie tells them that someone came into the room last night and probably took the teddy, but no one believes her. Then, everyone splits into groups of two and sets off to explore the farm. Along the way, they spot several abandoned cars, the owners of which are nowhere to be seen. Yet, these people are not afraid. They continue on. In the distance, Mac and Melanie spot a dark pit, emanating a terrible stench. It was so dark that they couldn't see anything, and they continued on. Unaware that someone was watching them, Mac and Melanie find a lake ahead, where they bathe. Meanwhile, Elisa and Gordon find an axe outside the warehouse, which Gordon picks up. It was dangerous, but Elisa orders them to leave the axe behind and takes Gordon inside the warehouse, where there was a bed on which Charlie used to sleep. But they don't understand this. As they are leaving, Charlie suddenly strikes Gordon in the chest with the axe, killing him, while Elisa quickly closes the door and hides in a corner to save her life. But Charlie breaks in, and Elisa's fearsome, demon-like form sends the ground tumbling under her feet. Within minutes, Charlie finds Elisa, knocks her unconscious, and then, pinning her to the ground, brutally crushes her head with a tractor wheel. Meanwhile, Tony is deeply worried about his friends, so he immediately heads to Chalice Farm to check on them. Other side, we see Natasha and Jason, who find a warehouse-like place, which only Jason can enter. Melanie and Mac, meanwhile, are spending some beautiful romantic moments together at the lake. But suddenly, Melanie screams because Charlie is standing in front of her. But seeing Charlie, Mac is not at all afraid and confidently goes out to talk to Charlie, who had ruined his mood by interfering with his romance. So he goes up to him and starts abusing him. Charlie, however, is unfazed. Instead, he continues to laugh. Then, suddenly, using the weapon in his hand, he cuts off Mac's private parts and stuffs them into his mouth, killing him in agony. Melanie is Charlie's next target. So, she quickly escapes the lake and begins to run away. But she can't escape Charlie, and Charlie quickly grabs her, throws her to the ground, and brutally dismembers her lower jaw, killing her. In the evening, Tony also arrives at Charlie's farm, and when he goes inside, he finds his friends are gone. But yes, on one wall are all the names written by Jason, Melanie, and his other friends as a memento. So he starts looking for them. On the other side, we see Natasha, who is now waiting for Jason to come out. But when Jason doesn't come out after a long time, she goes inside herself and is surprised to find that Jason is not there. But then she hears Jason's voice from under the bed. He tells a frightened Natasha, "I saw someone here holding a dangerous weapon." Although Natasha initially thinks it's a prank, when he arrives, he believes Jason's words, and they both sit in silence. Before Charlie can make them his prey, Tony arrives and starts fighting with Charlie. Seizing the opportunity, Natasha and Jason try to escape, but Charlie tears Tony's throat, killing him, and then moves on to Jason. Before Jason can react, Charlie brutally slits his throat and kills him. As Natasha escapes, Charlie catches her, and when she opens her eyes, she finds herself locked in a wooden box. Natasha breaks it open and climbs out, stunned by the sight of rotting bodies all around. Then, she spots a staircase leading out. As she tries to climb the staircase, Charlie arrives, but Natasha hid before he could spot her. As soon as Charlie left, Natasha scrambled to get out. Suddenly, Blue appeared and pulled her up, trying to run away. But then Charlie struck with an axe, killing Blue as well. Now it was Natasha's turn, so she mustered up courage, quickly took Blue's gun, shot Charlie, knocking him to the ground, and immediately ran towards the truck. But then Charlie arrived, shot Natasha, killing her as well. Then he picked up her body and carried her away, ending the movie. So friends, how did you like this story? Did you find it interesting?